Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for joining our free online lesson. My name is Nabil Fikri bin Shaizan, and I'm an application engineer from IKEA Systems. For today's topic, we'll take a look at the plastic mold design. So this will be the topic. So this will be the agenda that we're going to go through today. So we're going to create a plastic model, right? And then we're going to assign a plastic part characteristics. Then we're going to create core and cavity, and lastly, we're going to create a mold base. So let me just change into the inventors. Let's say if I already have a model like this, and I would like to convert this into a plastic parts, and then we're going to create a mold base design based on this model. So from here, I have this hollow. So if I take a look at the view section over here, so I have this hollow inside here. Now I would like to convert this into a plastic part, which I will divide these two into a top and bottom sections. So I'm going to cut this into half, and then I'm going to assign some plastic models such as the labs and the balls and so on. So, and then lastly, once we already have created these plastic parts, and we're going to insert this into the mold base. So basically, we're going to generate a mold base. So inside of mold base, you should have this core and cavity. So we're going to cut this into two, but we cannot just cut using straight cuts. So if I try to cut this something like this, for your mold and cavity, you should have something like this. Right? So you have core and cavity. Right? So the core and cavity, and then you have the plastic part inside here. So this is where we're going to put inside. So you cannot just cut something like this, because at the top over here, it cannot be taken out later on. So you need to specify the cut section properly. So for this case, you need to cut something like this, but to see the area much more effectively, you can use inspect, and then you can analyze using the drafting. So from here, I can select draft, and I can select the axis for this to be which one is the top and the bottom view. So again, the core and cavity, you have cavity and the core, and then you have direction that looks something like this. So this will be the directions. So the direction I'm going to use Y axis. So this will be, so it will be a direction something like this. So I'm going to select drafting, and I can select from the origin over here. I'm going to select the Y origin, and I can hit apply. So it's dividing into two sections. So you can see the red section is the critical one that we can use this as a line for us to cut this part into two. So for this case, I'm going to create a sketch to create a surface that we can use to cut. So from the sketch, I can select the plane that I want. So I'm going to select using the XY planes, and I can use this as a guiding for me to create a line. So I'm going to create a line over here, and then I can create a straight line if I want to. So, or I can also click and create. Let me just cut this into two, and I can create a spline if I want. So for this case, we must make sure it's cut through with the straight line, and I can use spline to combine it into two. So let's say we have something like this, and I need to smooth it. I'm going to use tangents to just to smooth it a little bit. But from here, I need this to stay. So I'm going to add the fix constraint to fix these locations. Same goes with this one. And I can apply again, and this area as well. And I can hit finish. So I don't need to see this analyze anymore. I can just turn off on the view, and I can turn off the analyze panel. Right, and then from here, I can use extrude to extrude this as a surface, and later on we use that surface as a cutting tool. So I'm going to select extrude. I can select surface. I can select this line, and then I can extrude this as a surface. I want to extrude both sides, so I'm selecting this symmetry. Once I have applied, so it is now cut across our model over here, and we can now use split tools to use this as a cutting tools, to use this surface, and then we can use this face to cut this tool. So I don't want to cut the face, I want to cut the solid. So I can click at the solid selection over here, and it's now converting into solid selection. I can press OK. And now if I take a look at the solid body, it is now has been cut into two sections. So I can turn off this surface first, and I can turn off one of the area, and then I have something like this. Now that we have this cut into two areas, so I'm going to apply the plastic tools where, for example, I'm going to add connections that this one can be snapped into at the top of here, so it will be snapped together. So I'll be using the lips, and I'm going to tap this tool using a screw area. So for that case, we can use boss. So I'm going to add the lips tool first. I can select this path edge, and I can select this area as a guiding face. So once done, I can select apply, and then I have create this one, and this one can be snapped to the top. So I have to click here, and then at the top of here, I need to create another lips, which is we use for engraving. So I'm gonna open this one. I can use my lipping tools, and then this time I'm using the groove. So the groove will be cut according to the lips tools that we have added at the bottom panel. So you can select this, and this as a guiding face, and you can see it is now cutting the inside over here. So this the solid this can be connected together with this. So for the lips has been done, and lastly, I would like to have a screws to be connected to the from the top to the bottom. So that is the boss tool for the plastic part. So for the boss tools, I would like my boss to start at the centers of this. So I'm going to use the exact planes as a guide. So for that case, for the boss, you need to have a center point. So I'm going to sketch at the exact planes, and I'm going to add center point at this origin point of view. So once I finish, so on the sketch we already have this, and then I can add the boss. You can select whether I want the head or the thread sections. For this will be the bottom. I want this as a thread. You can select threads. So this is where the spool will be connected tightly to this hole over here. Now we have this section. So again, we need to apply to the other one. So I'm going to hide the others and open up this one. And I want to use at the same point. So I'm going to use back the sketch point that I have created before. I can just share sketch, and I can select boss. And for this case, this will be the head sections. And I can hit apply. So we now have this, the screw will be input inside from this hole, connected from this hole, and it will be connected right from this solid part. Now I can turn on the visibility over here. So before we moving forward with the mold design, I would like to also select this as different appearance so I can identify easily. So the top one, I'm going to give it red colors. The bottom one, I'm going to give it, let's say, gold color. So we have this area over here. So if you cut the section across, you will look something like this. We have some inside over here, and this will be the connected screw will be connected at the center over here. So basically that is the idea for this model. Now that we have this plastic model, and we would like to input this, generate the mold design, right? The 2D. So for this case, I'm going to save first. So once I save, I can create new drawing, and then I can go to the assemblies, and then I can select mold design. So you can access mold design from here. So I'm going to click create. Then I select, okay, so this is the location where your mold file will be saved. And then I can input that plastic part that I have created before using this plastic part. So I can click over here. So that will be the plastic parts that I created before. So currently it's inputting both of these parts. So you cannot actually put both. You need to select one of these parts first. And then you can enter the other one later on. So I'm gonna input the bottom part first. All right, so this one should be the top part. So I'm gonna select OK and click, and it will generate the plastic parts over here. And I'm going to click at the other one, so plastic part again, plastic part 2, and I want to add the solid part, which is the bottom part. Now both of these files has been added. Now before we start with the mold, we need to orientate and reposition this correctly. The correct way is to position Z-axis is the top direction. So you can take a look at the bottom over here. We have the Z-axis over here. You need to follow this area. So I need to adjust this to face up with the Z. You can use this A button over here, the adjust orientation. So when I click over here, I can select the plastic part that I would like to change. And then I can select the Z directions is the area that I want to position into. And then I can select the face that will be positioned to the Z direction. So this will be the face. Then I can hit apply. So this one already done. So I'm gonna do the same with this area. So again, I want this to facing the Z directions, and the face that will be followed is this. So now that we have these two oriented correctly, I also want to readjust the position so it will position nicely. So to adjust the positions, you can go to the drop down over here and then select adjust position. And here you can use this to reference the location face to the other plastic parts location face. So I want to move these ones to be following this one. Once I select this one, I can select these faces. Then I can select this as a reference, and it will be referenced to this face, for example, maybe this face. So I'm going to select this face. And then from here, I can specify the offset. So for the, let me just orientate. For the X, this will be 0. And then for the Y direction, I want to have an offset around 100. Again, I can hit apply, and then you have this oriented correct. So at the bottom over here, and then at the bottom of this plastic part over here should be aligned correct. Now that we have lines, we can start by creating the core and cavity for each of these plastic parts. So I can use core and cavity button over here. I can select each of the part first. I'm going to start with the top part, and then I can select OK. And then from here, I can select, I can create the workpiece setting first for this. So to generate the core and cavity for this area, you need to divide these two using the patch and also runoff. And then you need to divide inside of the workpiece. So I'm gonna select workpiece. So this will be the block of our workpiece. I'm gonna set this the length of around 120, and the size will be 51, and then this area also. Now I have this block workpiece. So if I have a hole over here, I need to patch using surface. So I can click to patch the area. Click add. I have now patched around the area, and I can select runoff surface to basically divide this area into two. So right now we have divided the top section and the bottom sections using these surfaces. To generate that concavity, we can select generate concavity over here, and we can just select preview first if you want to view that particular files. So you can select the transparency settings, body separation. You can see this will be the cavity, and this one will be the core. And then when I hit apply, so right now we have created this core and cavity over here. So I need to do the same with the bottom parts over here. So again, creating this core cavity, and I can hit OK. Again, setting up the workpiece, I'm gonna use the same value. So for this case, I don't have a hole that going through this object. So for that case, we can just ignore the patching surfaces, and we can go to the runoff surface. Just need to divide this particular area. Once done, I can generate the concavity, and I now have the concavity for this area as well. So I can click finish, and I have this, both of these has been created. So before we go through with the creating the mold, we need to specify the runner and gate first, which is where our injection will be flowing inside. So that will be the injection pipe. So for that case, I need to specify which is the location that the mold will be entering to. So I can select gate location, and I want it to enter around, let's say, at this area over here. So I can select these plastic parts, and then I need to select these edges over here. So you see this value over here. So if I put once, it will be at the left. So if I put 0, it will be at the right. If I want it to be at the centers, I need to put 0.5. So it will be at the center. So same again with this part as well, selecting at these locations, and I want to divide it into two areas. So the location has been added. Now what's left is to create the runner, right? So to create runner, you can use sketches, and then it will generate using this runner button. So I'm gonna sketch the runner. So I'm gonna select Auto Runner Sketch, and I can select this area. Right, so that will be the runner section. So I can position this one to be at the center, around 50. And then rotate it a little bit for 90 degrees, so it will have a runner for both left and right. And I'm going to just drop down this around -50, maybe around -55. Once I press OK, it will lead us to sketching. So this is where I can use to enlarge this runner sketch, just to make sure that the endpoints receive at the end of this gate. So I can just re-enter the value. Let's say I'm gonna go with 50, but should be close to the area now. And I can hit finish sketches. and I can now use this to create a runner. So let me just return. I can use a runner to select the sketch, and it will create a runner at the sketch. So once the runner has been placed, now I needed to connect from this gate position to this runner. So I can add gate to these points. Let's see. All right, so for this gate location, it should be at the other side. So I'm gonna hit 150 and hit apply, or maybe I want to have a tunnel instead, so it's much more clean this way. Apply, so I'm gonna apply the tunnel to the other side as well. So what's happened here is that when the plastic injection is being flow inside here, and it will be moving inside of this runner, and it will be going through this gate over here inside our mold coin cavity. So now that the runner has been created and the gate has been created, we can now go to the mold assembly to create the mold base for this. So I can select mold base here. And then from here, I can specify the location. Maybe I can specify the reference. Let's say if I put the location over here, you can see the preview over here. So this line is the placement reference. And then this red area is the box for this coin cavity that we have. So I can select this. Maybe I select, I want to place at the top over here. Then you will see it is now readjusting based from our placement. So I'm gonna put at the center, is much more correct. If you have different type of render, you can just click drag arrow button over here, and then you can also readjust the size from here. But for now, I'm just going to select a default setting for my molds. So once I press OK, and now I have my mold base has been created. So just take a few seconds, right? So now our coin cavity and mold base is now has been created. So the only thing left that you need to put is that put some, such as the cooling components, maybe some lock set, the ejector if you need to, and then I need to put some screw bushing. So probably I needed to enter at the location over here, just to make sure that my mold can be flow inside. And I can adjust the correct size accordingly for this end. So if I don't have this area which is able to connect, so I need to change different type of screw bushing from here. So it does take a little bit of time to load. So once done, you should have the list of screw bushing that you can add. So you can add more things such as fitting rings, lock set, cooling components, so on and so forth. Right. So the area has been created, so I can select different one which have different type of bushing that I can select. If I also needed to offset this one downwards, I can just input the value. So around 5, maybe 15s. I can put negatives to move to downward positions, and I have something like this. Right, so that is basically the session for today, which is creating a plastic parts and creating the mold base from the plastic parts. So thank you everyone for joining. So I hope I can see you guys on our next free lesson. Have a nice day and bye-bye.